Welcome to Cantina Vizsla. For the safety of the bartenders and any other patrons, remember to keep all arms, legs, tentacles, or any other extremities you may have to yourself at all times. So come right in, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Coming to you from the Panic Room in the crap part of the cantina, I'm Sparrow, and with me, as always, is a man who some say only does Grand Arena battles while in the shower. All I know is I call him Stan.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing in there that's taking so long. I'm playing Grand Arena. Yes, that's it.
Exactly. You have to wash the disappointment off of you.
Oh my God, yeah. This one's not doing so hot. Also, hey, good job on the disclaimer there. I've been so sick of cleaning up detached appendages. It just takes so long to scrub the towels.
Yeah, it was getting a little out of hand. It started to get really crowded, so had to go through, call in an announcer when they're actually walking into the cantina. We can no longer greet everybody the way everybody's coming in. So we'll figure something out. Hopefully this works better.
Yeah, we'll have to start handing out waivers if it gets any worse.
Yeah, I hope not, but we'll see where it goes. So, other than cleaning up extremities off the floor, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been interesting. I'm probably will be a little off my game tonight. I am in food. My body's in shock. We've been on this low-carb diet, how I do every couple of months, try to slim up a little bit. Well, it ended today just in time for our company work holiday potluck party. So I've been eating cookies and snacks and garbage all day, and my body is just in shock. It doesn't know what's happening. So if I just pass out in a coma at some point tonight, that's probably why.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's worse ways to go than just by eating amazing food all the time.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. Oh, man, it's been pretty rainy this week. And go figure, I don't know if you've been seeing the news. There's this comet out there. It's not a big one, but it's big enough to kind of get the astronomy nerds excited. So I've been trying to dust my scope off and get out there and see it. And wouldn't you know it, just rain all week. It has not given me a chance. Womp, womp.
Yeah, well, speaking of that and astronomy and everything, I mean, I'm kind of excited. Did you see what all is launching tomorrow, which is the, 18th? There are 3 rocket launches set.
Okay.
So they have set up the Russian Suez is set to launch. They have the ULA heavy rocket, or I forget what they call it, the Delta IV rocket with 3 boosters and everything. That's set to launch. And then there is trying to remember the third one. There is a third rocket launch also. So that is really cool. Not many times you actually see that many rocket launchers. And they said this is actually the first year, the most rocket launches cumulative into space since, I think, 1990.
No.
I think was the last time they've had this many rocket launches within a year, and there's probably going to be even more next year with SpaceX and everything going around.
So what you're saying is we need to build a spaceport.
Yeah, exactly. We need to go through docking bay and everything. That's who's launching tomorrow. Is SpaceX. SpaceX is launching a satellite for GPS for the Air Force.
Okay. Yeah, we find a nice place in the desert. You set up a spaceport, attract all kinds of scum, hive, and villainy to work there. Perfect. I think we have a franchise opportunity.
Yeah, when we go through and put that many people, giving them something to do, they don't have anywhere else to go.
Exactly. Getting on the ground floor.
Yeah, so other than the comet and the clouds basically destroying that idea, I know you've been playing Destiny because they started up again, bringing everything in, so I'm assuming you've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, they brought in a new expansion, the Black Armory, as well as their yearly holiday kind of event, the Dawning. So I've been just going across the galaxy, killing people, and baking cookies. That is the new mechanic they put in the game. It's kind of cool. It's something to do. It's not the best stuff they've ever put out with the Black Armory, but it's okay.
Well, when
I haven't tried the new raid yet, so that may change my opinion, but we'll see.
It's a holiday bundle. A lot of times they just put it in there to just spice everything up, make it a little bit different just for the holidays.
Well, they're trying something new, and a lot of games are doing this now. Whereas you play the game, they release an expansion, you burn through that in a couple of days, and you're done. And there's nothing else to do for the next 3 or 4 months until the next expansion comes out. With this one, they're trying to kind of drip feed you content. So not everything comes out at once. So you do finish what's there pretty quickly, but there's always something new coming. And I think we're at the point where we've done all the little small stuff and we're waiting for the next little bit to come out. It's something new for Destiny. I know a lot of games do stuff like this, but the Destiny fan base isn't quite used to it yet.
Yeah, at least they're trying something new rather than trying to hammer home the same model that may or may not work or get people burn out for.
Exactly. So I've been making fake cookies. Looks like you've been doing a little more real world cookies.
I have not. I've been just acquiring them.
Getting ready for them. Okay.
No, I've just been acquiring them. I go over, my sister and mom were like, hey, we're making cookies. I was like, yeah, I can head over, and my contribution was making gin and tonic and sitting there and drinking as they cooked and just talking to them and watching football. And
that's a good trade.
And then I have a container of cookies to bring home. So I thought it was a perfect way to go into that. And then I was going through, I'm like, what's Santa's favorite drink? Gin and tonic, because he smells like Christmas trees 24/7 that way.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and if I had to choose between fake video game cookies and real cookies, I would choose real cookies 10 times out of 10.
See, you would have been better off going to your Christmas party, because you would have had a preparation for the cookies. You got to build up the tolerance, build up the ability to eat more.
That's it, yep.
But yeah, other than that, I've been playing quite a bit of Smash Brothers, trying to go through and get all the characters unlocked, because I know my brother got Smash Brothers also, because I've seen him log in. So I'm trying to go through and make sure I have a lot of the characters unlocked, so when he comes up for Christmas, we'll be able to play and have a lot of characters to go back and forth and try out. And then, as everybody's probably heard there at the beginning, I've been going through messing with the intros, been kind of updating everything for the podcast. I think we're going to start going through and taking clips of both Stan and I's games, whether we're playing Grand Arena. I recorded my C-3PO attempts to get C-3PO to 7 stars and put that on YouTube to go along with the podcast. So you can either go through, listen on mobile, or hop onto a YouTube channel and watch it with some clips and everything from us playing this during the week.
Yeah. We're getting into year 2 of the show here, and we've come a long way, and I think we've got a long way to go to continue to grow, and this is just kind of the next phase of Cantina Vizsla. We're with Grand Arena, the game's kind of in a new spot, so it's a good time to expand what we're doing too. And I guess kind of with that, just a reminder, we've got our new Patreon tier out there for Grand Arena. Anybody in the $5 category can join our Grand Arena Recon room. We'll talk about your defense plan. We'll look at your opponent's rosters, kind of guide you through the process and our strategies there. So while we're talking about Patreon, shout out to Nerb Cole. He bumped up to the $5 tier, so thank you very much. And if you're interested, please go over to patreon.com/Cantina Vizsla and see your details there. Yeah, and now back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
Yeah, even if you aren't a Patreon, go through, join us in Discord.
Yeah.
We really enjoy getting to talk to everybody. We go through, and there's a lot of guys in there, so if you post it, you have a question, someone's going to give you an answer and help you out with your roster and everything. So a lot of
Yeah,
helpful
yeah.
people in there, and I enjoy checking out rosters and going through trying to help people out and plan what you need to prepare for and how you should be going about doing things.
Yeah, let me be clear. We are never going to put ourselves behind a paywall where you can't ask us questions or talk to us unless you contribute some way. We're never going to do that. This is just a way to kind of give back a little more to those contributors and kind of give a little more formal, I guess, deliverable, if you will. But yeah, by all means, join Discord, talk to us. We're wide open. We have no problems answering any questions the best we can.
Yeah, and now let's get into the game. So we had a legendary event. How did you make out?
Oh, pretty good. I got me a shiny 7-star C3PO. What about you? Do you get him as well?
Oh, yeah, of course I did. I went through and was able to get C3PO at 7 stars on my main account in order to do that, mainly because, I didn't want to replay the event over and over again. So I did go through, and which we talked about before. I was going to plan on doing this eventually anyways. I put a Zeta on Chirpa's lead.
Nice.
Went through and Zeta'd Wicket. And also Zeta'd Logray.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm planning on going Gear 12 Ewok, so if I have that, I really need to go through and actually have the Zetas on the team to really throw people off. So that was the reasoning behind it. It just, with the event, just made me go through. I'm like, they're Gear 11. I just don't want to bash my head against the wall. I'll just put the Zetas on them and go from there. And speaking of Gear 12 Ewoks, I did just today Gear 12 my Wicket.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was, they're getting there. They're getting there. I'm pretty close. I'm 2 pieces away from Elder being Gear 12 and 2 pieces from Chirpa being Gear 12 also. So they're quickly getting there. I want to get them up, especially with Grand Arena and actually seeing this first set of battles. Definitely makes me want to go through and gear them up, especially I keep seeing first order teams. It would be nice to have a Ewok team because everything I've seen and heard, they're a very good counter to first order. So having them in my back pocket just to blast through a first order team, they regain health and protection. So I should be able to get a lot of points for that way with that counter team. So it seemed perfect to have set up for me.
They're a good team. I've actually seen them on defense a lot, too, because there's not a lot of established counters to them. So it's definitely a strong team. And you probably hear a little fuzzy voice in my background, too. He is giving his 2 cents on Ewoks as well.
Jealous of them. That's what.
He is.
But
yeah, I did mine. I ended up taking Elder to Gear 12. I put a Zeta on low gray. Everyone else was about Gear 11. And I've seen people do it with Gear 9 and below, but I'm like you. I wanted to get it done and over with. And plus, I wanted to build an extra team for Grand Arena.
Well, I have the 2 accounts. So C3PO did get 7-star on the other account. That one was more of a challenge. That one went through and required Elder's Gear 11, Wicket's Gear 11, Chirpa's Gear 11, Logray was Gear 9, and Paplu was Gear 10. That required a lot of work to get C3PO. I went through and ended up having to remod everything, really. Basically had to strip off mods, had everybody with plus 10 or higher speeds on them. Majority of them were right around 14, plus 14 speed on everything. And the main thing, if anybody's still trying to go through and get C3PO, my advice would be going through, look at your mods. Just don't go in with mods that you had laying around
And if you're looking at 2 specific Ewoks to mod up, you want to do Ewok Elder. I did Speed. And then Chirpa and Wicket, you want critical damage and critical chance mods on them. That made all the difference in the world, actually having that extra damage. Without it, with just laid around health mods with some speed on them, and the good primaries just weren't cutting it. It wasn't putting out enough damage. But as soon as I switched over to that, I maybe took 4 or 5 attempts and was able to go through and of those 4 or 5 attempts, I should say, were like those back out because bad RNG. They killed 1 or 2 Ewoks in the first go. It's not even worth attempting, and just backed out and went in. And with those mods, was able to clear it. So mods make a huge difference in this event.
Yeah, I had the same strategy and kind of used the assist with Ewok Elder to keep building that turn meter. Try to take out, get the taunt off, and then take out Chewie or Han as fast as possible, because they're going to be the main damage dealers. And if Chewie gets his AoE off, that's pretty much a wrap. Focus on them, get them down, and from there it was pretty much a cakewalk.
Yeah, I ended up taking. I'll post the clips of it, but it was it was rather hilarious as I'm going through first thing in the morning. I'm like, I'm going to try to get C-3PO first thing in the morning. Go through, start doing everything, get to the 5-star level of the event, and just get run over. I'm like, oh man, why the hell's that happening? Go through, replay it. All right, got through it, not a problem. Get into the 6th, get run over. Then I finally look at my team. Yep, Wicket was in the lead. I was going through it. I was okay, that's great. Good thing I Zeta Chirpa and then didn't put him in the lead.
Yeah, I've almost done that a couple of times myself. Yep.
It was first thing in the morning, and then you can watch me try to go through, and I'm like pulling up all the abilities because I have no idea what the abilities do for the Ewoks. When I first went through it on my account, let me tell you, after running it multiple times on the other account, I know the Ewoks very well now. I don't have to look at their abilities anymore.
Right. Yep. Kind of going with the strategy and all that. And I've said it the last time we had a legendary event, but I really wish there was a practice mode once we finished it, just to theory craft different teams and try different methods to beat it. Because once it's done, there's no playing around with it. And like you don't want to waste 4 days just messing with random teams. You're ready to get your C-3PO and go on.
And then the strategy is, get good, and then you'll be able to get your C-3PO.
All right. I want to get my C-3PO and then continue to have something to do and play around.
Yeah, like it would have been nice to be able to help people out by trying to throw in Tebow or a low-geared Ewok Scout or someone in there trying to do different combinations to try to help them out, seeing if you could actually beat it. But, I mean, I understand why they don't. Because then people just complain that, hey, we can replay the event, but we aren't getting any rewards for it, and you know how things go. It's just
they wouldn't complain about that. What are you talking about?
No, Reddit would never complain because the sky is blue or anything like that.
Right.
Sky is blue, it should be green, obviously.
Okay, speaking of Reddit,
you got on
good
Reddit?
Of the group, I've resubscribed to the Reddit just for you guys. I don't want to miss anything.
No, that's your reasoning behind it. It's for you guys. Yeah. It's not for me.
It's not for me. Not for me. It just makes me mad every time I go on there. Let's talk about something good.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's get into the Star Wars news because that looks really good.
Some good stuff. The Mandalorian cast has been confirmed, or at least the main cast. We had some rumors and kind of some speculations. We had heard, what the heck's his name? Pedro Pascal thrown out there. He's been confirmed. We've got some other people as well. We've got, Gina Carano was another one that was rumored. from Deadpool. This one here got me excited. Giancarlo Esposito, or Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, will be in the show.
All right.
Which is awesome. We've got Werner Herzog, which sounds like a cool video game from the 90s. I'm trying to see what you may know him from. I'm on his IMDb page. Jack Reacher, I guess he was in that. I don't know.
I was looking up Gus.
Nick Nolte will be in the show, known from Crazy Mugshots and The Warrior and Affliction in 48 Hours. This is real good radio. Also, MF and Carl Weathers is going to be all up in The Mandalorian. So that is exciting. You probably know him from Predator, maybe Rocky or Happy Gilmore. So that is very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. They have a lot of big names, so I'm excited to see how they
go Emily
about
Swallow. Are you a Supernatural fan? You watch Supernatural?
Yes, I have watched Supernatural. I have not caught up recently. Goes on and on.
It never ends. We watch Supernatural all the time. She was in that. She was the Darkness.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. And anybody else worth mentioning?
I mean, that is plenty right there, man. You aren't going to get much bigger cast. I mean, even like Game of Thrones did not have a well of a known cast as that is right off the bat.
Yeah, and we got last but not least, Omid Obtai. Probably mispronouncing that. I apologize. He was in Last Resort, Argo, and Hunger Games, Mockingjay.
Oh.
So there you go. Good names. Good talent attached to this. So this is cool. Very, very much looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I definitely be something I'm going to have to figure out how they're releasing it and figure out as far as watching it. Rather than a couple of days or a week later, actually watch it right away, which is going to be a change for me. I don't know the last time I've actually gone through and watched a show or tried to watch a show pretty much live.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this right now. We get a Giancarlo Esposito character in the game, I'm wailing out. This is going to happen.
He's going to have bodies in the back.
Yep. All right. So
Fried
TV
chicken.
is done.
All right.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's jump into the game now. We were kind of going over the C-3PO event. That should be wrapping up on Friday the 20th, correct?
I think
or
so.
21st, something like that. 21st is Friday, because it usually runs a week. So it's either the 20th or 21st that wraps up. But what else do we have coming up?
All right, looking at the calendar, they have made some changes to it. We've got Secrets and Shadows coming up. We've got the Endurance event, Military Might on the 22nd, along with Ghost of Dathomir, Rebels and Geonosians Omega Battle on the 24th, Ground War on the 24th, Grandmaster's Training, Mythic will be on the 24th. So that should take us up through Christmas. Christmas Day, we got the Mythic Artist of War, the Executrix, Military Might, Ewoks and Empire Mega Battle. So busy days throughout the holidays. We've got an Imperial Retaliation coming up on the 20th. And then the biggest change in the calendar is the rest of the territory wars have been canceled for the month. So we will have 2 more Grand Arenas starting on the 20th, and then the 4th one starting on the 28th. So learn your lessons, do your mods, update your rosters, keep ready, keep fighting.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we should add in there that they did go through and mention that because of the territory wars being canceled, they are updating the Grand Arena awards to better reflect the rewards lost for the missed territory wars. So we will be seeing a bump up in Grand Arena rewards the next couple rounds.
Right. And if you still need some legendary characters, they're pretty much all coming back toward the end of the year. We've got Chewbacca coming back, Emperor coming back, BB-8. Let's see.
I think JTR is coming back, right?
I'm trying to confirm. I see Daring Droid. I see Emperor's Demise. I see One Famous Wookiee. Artist of War. Not seeing JTR's event.
That might be coming out here 1st of January then.
Yeah, usually if you see BB-8, he comes back too. So
yeah,
if you still need her, just start prepared. There's rumors floating around that Revan's coming back pretty soon.
I'm
wouldn't
ready.
surprise me.
I'm ready. I am ready.
It wouldn't surprise me now that C-3PO is turning out to be a pretty decent counter to Revan. His day in the spotlight may be coming to a close.
Some of the C-3PO teams that I'm already seeing is even trying to. You would think like JTR, C-3PO, BB-8, R2, and Chewie. You'd think, oh yeah, that team's going to be good on offense, but they aren't going to be able to hold on defense. And then all of a sudden they start playing, and you're like, nope, they're good on defense too. Okay, crap. What do I do now? So yeah, C-3PO is definitely shaking stuff up. So I'm hoping Revan comes back because I kind of need that other leader ability to go along with my Grand Arena team. Need that build out. But let's get into kind of like what the news and everything brought in. So when they brought in C-3PO into it, we talked about the event. Do you want to add anything else about the event, what you thought about the event, or anything else to add?
Yeah, the event was actually really well done. It was the first cutscenes that actually had dialogue in it, recorded voice. So I thought that was really cool. It's really a next level in production value.
Yeah, I thought the event was really good. I thought it ramped up decently. Like you go through, 4-star was kind of easy to get through. You got some crystals, got some credits. And then 5-star, it really ramped up. You had to be ready. So it's not just a free giveaway for 5 stars for a legendary event, which I actually liked. I kind of like having that 5-star, definitely hard to get. 6 stars, I thought 5 and 6 stars were actually pretty close as far as difficulty level goes. And then 7-star ramps up again. So I like the game balance of that also.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fair too. And it pretty much what I expected. If it's characters that have been in the game, expect it to be a Gear 11, Gear 12, Zetas, a lot of good RNG. That's just the difficulty it's going to be. So going in knowing that, I wasn't too bummed about having to put gear on Ewoks. But I enjoyed it.
They're going to make me put gear on Ewoks. I'm going to commit and do it all the way. And that's the way it's going to be. Because, let me tell you, going into Grand Arena and seeing teams and seeing people basically have teams that were bare minimum to get a character or do this or do that is really hurting them now because they don't have fleshed out teams. It's like they have a first order team that they fleshed out just to get BB-8. And now they're putting it in Grand Arena on defense. And I'm like, well, you have 2 good characters, but the other 3 are really weak. So I could take in really anybody and just kind of plow through them. And then it's a 5-on-2 or 5-on-3. And it's really easy just to work down those characters. Where if you have a full Gear 12 or even full Gear 12, maybe with one Gear 11 character, it makes it a lot more difficult to get through them in Grand Arena.
Right, yep. So yeah, we had C-3PO come to the game. They put his event in, and we also had a bit of a game update. These always kind of get lost in the shuffle, but a couple of neat little things in this update. They did update the calendar. They gave us our first holiday gift, Papalou's portrait.
Yeah,
so that
was okay.
Yeah, I really like portraits. It's a cool addition. Gives you something extra to work for with these quests and all that. Lets you show your personality a little more. I love them. It was cool.
I'm waiting for like the Ewoking guilds or anything to require all their members to have Ewoks.
Yeah.
It's like only Ewok images. That's it. That's all you're allowed. But yeah, they are really cool. I do like them.
Yeah, I want that Thrawn one for the Grand Arena quest. Thrawn's my boy. That's the one I'm going after.
We were talking about that. I am at 16 of 20 unique buffs and cannot get the last 4 for some whatever reason. I have no idea what buffs actually qualify for unique buffs or how I actually, or what team I use to actually get those unique buffs. Have no idea. But I'm at 16 of 20. I have the 20, I think it's 20 days and then revive one character. I have those parts of the quest done. And I'm like, come on. I can't beat one team. And I'm like trying to go through just trying to find unique buffs and just not working right now. So, I mean, if you're stuck on yours, you might just want to go through and try to see if you can knock that quest out.
Yeah, well, I'm at 12 of 20 unique buffs, and it's not looking like it's going to happen this territory war. But we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. They snuck out some characters into the shipments on us.
Yes, they did.
Hot Topic Bastila and Canderous Ordo are now available in Chromium packs and shipments. So they're pretty early on those. I think that's been the earliest from our expected date to actually hitting the table in a while.
Yeah,
we didn't have them pegged. Well, no, maybe no. It's about a week and a half or so. We had them pegged for the 27th and 28th.
This also might be getting pushed earlier because they said they're going to be out for the holidays. So they're going to be out pretty much all next week and part of the following week. So I guess that would also be why you want to go through and push it out. Much rather be early than releasing those characters late. So I guess I can kind of understand that. But yeah, let's. What else did they put in to go along with the first gift? They actually gave us mod slicing mats and everything for participating in season 0 of the Grand Arena, which was really nice. It basically gave you enough material to slice up a 6-dot mod, which I was pretty thrilled about. It's something that I've been starting to lean more towards, and actually get my arena team with 6-dot mods. And let me tell you, it definitely does help and make your team a lot beefier. And seeing some of my opponents, it's like, I know I have 6-dot mods, but they're really kind of scattered. They're really just on Thrawn. I have a few on Nest, and then everybody else is kind of scattered. And it's just my arena team right now. I don't even have a full set of 6-dot mods on my arena squad yet.
I've got. I haven't finished my arena, but I'm 3 of 5 about done, and I've not been focusing on 6-dot mods until just very recently, and that's kind of got me at a disadvantage in Grand Arena, where mods make a lot of difference. I mean, if you're rocking subpar mods, you're gonna feel it. So I'm switching to focus on that as well. So yeah, anytime we get those mod materials, yeah, bring it on.
That's kind of why I'm liking Grand Arena, because of the rewards. Everybody else kind of lukewarm about them for each turn. I'm really liking them because the amount of ability or slicing material that I'm getting to be able to go through and work on mods, and I don't have to take focus away from something else I'm working on.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, it definitely excited. I do like that. Let's before we get into more of the Grand Arena and how that's actually gone, C-3PO came into the game, and we kind of mentioned that he is doing really well in a lot of teams, and you mentioned that he's taking out Revan. Do you want to go into that team real quick, and then we can kind of say how he's doing in some of the raids?
Not really, because I have it pulled up.
Okay.
But
well, so basically, C-3PO with it, JTR, C-3PO, BB-8, R2, and Chewie, or you can go through it's Zeta Finn with Zeta Finn, C-3PO, BB-8, R2, and like Raid Han, or pretty much mix of the 5th character.
Yeah.
in there, and they're just able to walk through Treya, Revan, pretty much anybody, just with his ability with translate and confuse and everything like that within his kit. And he is doing massive damage in arena at low gear level too, because he's not attacking, so you don't have to worry about him doing damage. He's really just there to buff up the team and get them moving and stall out the other team. So you can run him at a low gear level, and just all you need is speed and health to make sure he actually survives, which a lot of these teams that I've actually been seeing, the other team isn't moving, so it really doesn't matter at all. You can just load him up with speed at any gear level as long as he has his abilities leveled up. And what's doing this is, I don't even think it's either of the Zetas either. I don't think you need the Zetas to do any of this.
No, because a lot of it, especially with Finn, is you're getting those exposes on basic, and this is feeding turn meter to everybody, allowing them to just go indefinitely. And we'll get to that. It may be something that changes, maybe not necessarily that mechanic, but yeah, things may not stay the way they are for good old C-3PO.
And this is why. So C-3PO came in within, what was it? Not even 12 hours of C-3PO coming into the game that we started seeing teams of him soloing the heroic AAT. First, it was just kind of pretty much manual going through P1 and then auto the rest of the way. And then teams started emerging where it's pretty much full auto. The most they have to do is just set everything up to put confuse on everybody on P1, and then they're hitting auto, and it's autoing the heroic AAT. So that is really cool, and there's quite a few characters that are doing that. As we mentioned, a JTR lead and also a Zeta Finn lead. Then
I think Skeltrix got a few decent videos out there on the heroic AAT.
Yeah, Skeltrix went through, and how ridiculous C-3PO is. He went through and had to go through manual part of, or all of P1, and manual the setup part of P2, and then hit auto the rest of the way. And his Finn didn't have mods on him.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And I think there was one or two other characters in that team that he just took mods off of. So they were able to solo the heroic AAT without mods on characters, is how crazy that team is. And so this got people thinking, where does C-3PO fit in the heroic Sith raid? So obviously they thought P3. And they went through and took that Zeta Finn team, figured out going through, and when Treya is toppled, they can create a pretty much an indefinite loop because her tenacity isn't high enough, so they can get exposes and actually solo P3 of the heroic Sith raid, which is great. It's fun to see. You know how CG is about their Sith raid. They're a little protective of it, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
So they came out pretty much, not even a half hour before we started recording here, and came out with a statement saying, because of the mechanics creating infinite loops within P3 of the heroic Sith raid, they are looking at creating a fix, because it's an infinite loop and it's for endgame content that it's affecting. So they are going to be reworking it somehow. They are not sure how they're doing it. What they actually went through and wrote was they're considering either a change to Finn's Zeta leadership, or possibly looking at a rework of the mechanics of Treya within P3. Now, the easy fix would probably just be adding stacking tenacity during a topple of Treya within the P3. But looking at all the other teams and seeing Finn being able to walk over Revan, walk over Traya, walk over the heroic AAT by creating these loops with Expose, I would not be surprised if his leadership is actually going to get a change, unfortunately.
I really hope not. I think that's going to be the path of most resistance.
Dun-dun-dun.
Sorry everybody. Yeah, because then you got to look at refunding Zetas, and it's just going to be a mess. I think if they just change the way Traya works, it's less player focusing. It's not going to impact anywhere else in the game. I don't know how the programming works. It may just break everything and burn it to the ground. I don't know, but that's what I want to see. I'd rather just change the Phase 3. And
I would imagine that's going to be easy because they have stacking tenacity already built into the heroic Sith raid, and they could just add it during Topple. She gets stacking tenacity. It's not going to affect any other teams other than this, really, as pretty much right now. I don't know if it'll actually affect the Night Sister team that's able to go through P3 or not with the tenacity, if that makes a difference on that team. But either way, that's probably the easiest and least impactful to the game itself. Changing
either way,
Finn's leadership could get real ugly, and I would say, yeah, it's a very good possibility depending on how they change Finn's leadership, where it would be a good possibility that they would have to refund Zetas to people, which would be that would definitely be an interesting leadership ability to refund, and what people would do with it depending on how they fix it, because that's one of those okay Zetas. Well, I shouldn't say okay Zeta. It's a very good early game Zeta. Yeah. It was very good early on, but now that
it's a good one now.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great one now. But if they change that leadership to be able to take that out, it's I wonder how many people would actually give that Zeta back to Finn's leadership, or they would just go through and focus on their JTR squad with Resistance and then put that Zeta somewhere else. So that one would have me interested in how they would actually change that up, and depending on how they change it up, it might really affect those Resistance squads going up in Territory Wars and Grand Arena, hitting those exposes.
It's just such a much more valuable team now with Grand Arena. Ooh, they'd be kicking a hornet's nest if they changed it now. But they said they are testing it. They are looking at different solutions. They will be communicating before the change is made, but they can't do it during the holidays. So if you want to do it solo Phase 3, have fun, knock it out, but don't spend your resources with that goal in mind, because it will be changing.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts, essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they came out and said, yes, we are fixing it. It's not going to get fixed right away just because of the holidays, and they want to go through and actually test it to ensure it doesn't break anything else, which it's happened before. And they want to go through and try to find the best fix for it. So, that's fine by me. I'm glad they came out and actually said something about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, let's get into... Well, I guess the last thing... Basically, what we're saying about C-3PO is... before the next Grand Arena roster lock, gear him up, make sure he's modded. Or at least get somewhat semblance. Get him to Gear 8, Gear 9, and put some mods on him. That way he's actually quick. He's going to plug into a team, and he's going to make a world of difference in quite a few different teams, depending on what you have built. And he'll be great on offense and maybe defense by that point, looking at some of these teams. So, speaking of Grand Arena, let's get into this. We had Season 1. How did you do?
Not as good as I would have liked. To be perfectly honest, I won my first round. My opponent never attacked, so I don't know if he forgot or broke his phone. I don't know. Second round, it was pretty close, but did not win that one, and
I still don't have what it takes.
I did not have
harder.
Yes, and the current round, it does not look like I'm going to win this one either. And some of it's my roster. I do need to flesh out my Gear 10s, Gear 8s, and Gears 9s to really round out some better teams. But a lot of it was just poor placement on my part. You make a few bets and they can go sideways. You think somebody has a team and they saved it. These things happen. Live and learn. How about you? You doing a little better than I am, hopefully?
Yeah, I am doing. As far as that, I'm doing a lot better than you had. My first round guy, pretty much, I would have thought would have been one of the top guys based in my group of 8, since the guy did have Revan. All Gear 12 with the Zeta Jolie. I was like, all right, this one's going to be interesting. Went through, made sure I saved my Traya team, and went through. The guy went pretty heavy on defense, but I was able to go through and clear his board, one-shot his Revan team with the Hot Topic Bastila team with
Nice.
Traya. I don't think he was expecting that, because he went through and he took 2 shots on my Kira team, 2 shots on what was the other team? I think my Night Sister team. So he went through and he didn't do horribly against my teams. It's just he was expecting Traya to really hold me up, and she didn't. I just kind of walked over Revan. So that was good. Got a first round win. Got into the leaders bracket, the winners bracket there. The second round guy went through, kind of set my defense a little bit better. He was a little bit more evenly matched with me, and just one shot, one kill. Every single one of his teams didn't have a problem with it. I had one team go through and he had to take two shots at it, and was able to win by 7 points. So got into that last bracket, the winner's bracket for first place here.
Nice.
This one I was kind of looking at the roster. I was outmatched. He has 13 more Gear 12 characters than I do. So definitely, and his bottom of his roster is all, they're 7-star, but Gear 1, not leveled up. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. And just before we started recording here, went through, cleared everything but one team. Have an okay score, but went back, looked at his roster. He placed a lot of his top end, like out of his top 24 characters, 20 of those characters that are Gear 12 modded well with Zetas were all on defense. So he really didn't leave them that. Not sure how much he left for offense. And I did go through, and I do have my bounty hunters with Zeta Barris sitting there. I do have the Kira Vandor Chewbacca Zeta team in there. I have my Bastila team. I have my Night Sisters with General Kenobi. I do have my Zeta'd out Phoenix squad in there also. So it's going to come down to whether he saved enough for offense. I'm hoping I placed enough on there and was able to clear enough teams, but it should be. I'm hoping that it's going to be close, but we will see how it goes.
Yeah, it's funny just how important placement is. My first round, I had a plan, and I had a sneaking suspicion he had some Night Sisters tucked away, but I went ahead and used my Night Sister counter to clear a Kira team that was giving me some trouble, and lo and behold, I left myself without a Night Sister counter. So, you just gotta have some patience. It was the round had just opened. I was speeding through it, and instead of kind of taking my time, I just wanted to do as many battles as I could. Just remember, you got 24 hours. You don't have to, unless you got something going on, you don't have to do it right away.
Well, not only that, so let's take for example for the guy that I'm going up against right now. Like, he has good teams, but one of his teams that he placed on defense was his JTR squad. Okay, I understand putting a JTR squad together and putting it on defense. But he went through, and the squad he put in... Hold on, let me enter here real quick here. He went through and had JTR. All right. Obviously, that makes sense. BB-8. Okay, perfect. He has R2 in there. Okay, I probably would have put him with CLS or a WIGS team because he helps those Rebel teams out a lot more than they would JTR. But okay. Resistance Trooper. I'm like... All right, probably not the best if you want to keep a Zeta Finn team alive. And then he put Poe in there. So Poe really goes through and just that JTR squad pretty much negated his Zeta Finn. His Zeta Finn that he has saved for offense or didn't use really is not going to help him out at all because he doesn't have his resistance characters to back up a Zeta Finn-led team. So it's simple things like that as far as setting yourself up on defense. If you overcommit or you build a team and you don't leave those crucial characters for an offensive team, you're really going to struggle. And it's amazing. Like, I did that. I did that first round. I went through and I was like, or with the test one, I went through and placed a team and I'm like, I did not split up that team very well because it really didn't not leave me. It was for my Bastila team. I just didn't have the Jedi to go around him. So around her, I had to go through and scrounge up a team because of that. I just was not thinking at the time and to place my Jedi in other teams and didn't think about it.
Yeah, ideally you want to have a kind of a hard counter and a soft counter to any kind of meta team out there. And if you've just got one, you're really setting yourself up to get stuck. And I'm in that situation now. I had a Revan mirror match that didn't go my way, and now I'm stuck with absolutely nothing that can kill Revan. So that next time, won't be as bad since C-3PO will kind of give me another option there. But this time, yeah, I'm just stuck.
Yeah, what other takeaways do you have with that?
That's a big one. Playing your roster, like with me, my B teams are weak because I focused a lot on meta characters. If they weren't my arena team or needed for, say territory battles, and even then I'd get them up enough to beat the PvE content, not necessarily be arena viable. So a lot of my support characters like B2, Dooku, Old Ben, they are not where they need to be useful in this mode. So I've got to do some work to focus on them. I've got game plans. I've got my teams. I know where I want them. They're just not good enough to compete at the bracket I'm in. I mean, the guys I'm going up against are just top notch. It is rarefied company for sure. But on the same note, really, we talk about banners and all that. At the end of the day, they matter for the wins, but overall they don't matter because every game's going to have one person that goes undefeated. If the brackets stay the way they've explained it, you'll have 3 people that have gone 2-1 that will share the same payout, 3 people that go 1-2 that share the same payout, and then one poor person with 0 wins. And they'll get the tier 8 prize.
A loser.
The biggest loser. They should get a title too. I kind of wish they would do more with that. Maybe there's a quest somewhere in there. But
yeah. But like looking at the prizes, it's definitely worth it if you can get first place. Man, 90 stun cuffs. That makes a big difference. And then the next drop off, you drop down to 50 for.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
It's still pretty good, but it definitely is worth getting first. But losing one battle isn't going to hurt you. Only getting 50 stun cuffs and the slicing material isn't going to hurt you as much. But having that first place, there is an incentive to go after it.
Yeah, but yeah, also, if it was stun guns, I probably might change my tune. But stun cuffs aren't as valuable as they used to be, seems like, at least to me. So I'm not going to kill myself over this mode. It's very fun. I really like it a lot, and the competitive side of me just really wants to excel in it. But the I guess the game accountant side of me, I haven't decided if it's worth this really going all out for at the expense of, hoarding gear for a Darth Revan or something that will be arena defining a little bit down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I like the stun cuffs just because right now Kira, Vandor, Chewbacca, and I need them for the Ewoks, so I actually need stun cuffs right now, but past that, I really don't need that much stun cuffs. I agree with you. Stun guns would be a lot more helpful to me.
I choked somebody for some stun guns right now.
Yeah, either that or Carbantes. I mean, I would take Carbantes any day also. That's another one.
Yeah. Our guildmate Hamish brought up a good point with these type of modes. It kind of depends on how you look at it. If you look at it as just another means of farming gear, then it's not... Yeah, maybe not worth it. But if you look at it as the actual game that you're playing, that we all are, and you want to win at the game that you play, then it might be worth investing a little more in.
That, and when you go through and look at these rewards, they're already switching them up to add more based on the Lost Territory Wars.
Right.
Those stun cuffs may not be static. That might just be Season 1 rewards. Season 2 may be stun guns. Season 3 may be Carbantes. So they may actually be rotating these around. And also you have to remember, look at the gear you can get for completing quests. Wow.
Yeah,
they are
good.
Fully crafted gold gear that you need for Gear 12 Plus. Where you may not be getting the rewards right away, gear-wise, within the Grand Arena for winning, but by I don't want to say this, actually playing within the Grand Arena mode and completing the quest, you will get that gear. So you have to remember, the quests are part of the Grand Arena, so it's definitely worth completing and activating those quests, because there's a lot of Zetas and a lot of really good gear within it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any other takeaways from it?
Yeah, I'm definitely finding it tough as far as going through, having my roster locked for a week with no mod movement, no gear movement. Because after every territory war that I actually go in, I go through and figure out, all right, I needed to switch up mods to be able to beat this team. I need to throw a couple more gear pieces on this team to be able to make them work. And right now it's like a full week of competing against people, and I cannot move mods or add a couple pieces of gear here or there to try to make a team work for a counter that I needed or was trying out and tested out and just didn't work. So I'm finding that a little bit tough. It's going to be a lot more planning on my part as far as sitting down, getting mods into the right place before the roster set. I kind of wish it would reset after each battle, but I understand why they did it that way. Still kind of finding it a little bit tough to find that offensive defensive balance of teams for me right now. I was able, like I said, I left one team on the board, and basically the reason I left that one team on the board is because I had one failed attempt. I tried to go through and do a mirror match. I lost, and that kind of set me back and wasn't able to clear everything perfectly because I didn't have a backup team, which I normally did with Night Sisters. I wasn't putting them on defense. I was using them on offense because they counter so many different teams, and they were kind of a backup where I wasn't quite sure what team I wanted to use. I could just plug in my Night Sisters, clear it, and then move on. Not having that team was kind of rough this go-around, but it may pay off if they do dividends on defense, but we'll see. Now, the last part of the takeaways and everything is really kind of thoughts with you on and asking you questions and going through what I thought and everything. So, for newer players, would you consider anything as far as anything new when building your roster now, looking back now? Would you change on how you built your roster currently?
Probably not. Again, there's so many different areas of this game that you can succeed in, and up to this point, I have chosen to succeed in raids. I say succeed, but focus my efforts on raids and the PvE content. Really, up until the last probably 3 or 4 months, Arena, it's just been kind of an afterthought. I was happy to stay top 50. Of course, with Revan and Treya before that, I was able to get top 10 and kind of stay around there. So I focused a lot more on Arena lately. But newer players going in now,
but this is also building a roster as in, people are even looking at now farming the shards for characters and getting 330 shards and then leaving them at, say, 3 stars with 330 shards ready to go right to 7 stars, but just leaving them there and not even unlocking them to try to go through and keep their GP down, not adding mods to characters, not taking characters to level 85 or 53, not taking them up to gear 7 or 8.
Nah, we talked about this last week, and the matchups are still early, and I think as they progress, as they keep the kind of the formula being tweaked, and they were on Galactic War Report last week talking about their matchmaking algorithm and how it's fairly accurate the way that they do it, and they've tried some other ways of weighting characters and some meta teams and things like that, and the kind of the straight GP comparison ended up being the most accurate overall. So I think sandbagging it, I don't know. I think we need to see a little bit more data and a few more times of matchup to see how much it really makes a difference. Because it's so much confirmation bias too. If you get in there and you play somebody that just isn't very good and you stomp all over them, you could attribute it to that. Or if you go against somebody that's good and they stomp you even with your sandbag GP, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can see people not going through and actually holding off a little bit on their lower end of their roster and seeing the advantages to that for newer players starting and only gearing up and focusing just on characters that they're using. Would I do that? No, because I'm always going through, and ever since the first Yoda event, I've been trying to go through and make sure I had every character unlocked at 5 stars and at least had some gear on them just in case of a legendary event happening. That way I could have the chance of just needing gear and farming. I already had a good start. I'm already at 5 stars. That gives me enough time to get to 7 stars before the event ends. And working it that way, that definitely helped me out with bounty hunters. That definitely just helped me out with the Ewoks. I mean, I already have my Ewoks at 7 stars, gear 9, 1 at gear 10. Just bumping them up those last couple gear levels to get ready for an event is a lot easier than, all right, I have to make sure I have all the crystals. Okay, now I need to start from gear 1. All right, let me put everything on. Do I have enough gear? Because you're going through focusing on just specific characters. So I can see benefits, and I can see where it would also hurt.
Right, and also if you're in a guild that's trying to hit another tier of territory battles with the deployed GP, it's going to hurt you there.
Yeah.
Now, whether the trade-off for gear is worth it to you, that could be argued. I would actually think that the guild events tokens would be more valuable than what you're getting out of Grand Arena, but that's just me.
Yeah, especially getting Wampa.
Yeah,
Need that Wampa. But so this it does tie into this. Are you considering any roster manipulation now that you've seen an actual Grand Arena battle?
No.
Okay.
I'm too lazy for all that.
Yeah, I'm keeping my mods on there. It's more beneficial to have a broader range of mods saved up in your bank on characters when you change mods. That way you have a lot of flexibility within that. And like I said, I like having my characters at 7 stars, level 85, at least gear 7, because it allows me the flexibility of newer events that come out within the game.
Yeah, the
Having a good base.
The only manipulation I'm going to do is try to make my characters stronger and better.
Yeah, it sounds like you're going through and focusing on these oddball characters, the plug-and-play characters, like
right.
B2, and fleshing out a few teams where I actually went back after territory battles, or right around territory wars, and actually went through and all these teams that I was going through and got geared up to the bare minimum to complete a level like Phoenix. And I'm trying to think of the other teams that I did that with. Bounty Hunters was the other one for Darkside territory battles. Getting them up to gear 12 is really helping me out now because I have a full team set up, ready to go that is gear 12. The only ones I really haven't gotten to that I want to is Rogue One's an iffy one because I find Chase better suited in other teams than a Zeta Jin lead, which is unfortunate. But I really need to get back and actually finish gearing up my Imperial Troopers at some point because that team counters a lot of different teams.
Yeah, they're a strong team. That's where I would go with as well.
Yeah, that's after my Kira Vandor Chewbacca team I'm going to do there. But that's what I've been focusing on. I don't like having unfinished teams, so I've been going through, fleshing them out, filling out a full Gear 12 team. So that is helping me out within the Grand Arena right now, because I really don't have that many bare minimum teams left other than a Zeta Finn led team, which isn't fleshed out, Imperial Troopers, and like I said, Rogue One. So that is helping. Yeah, and we just went over my last question was how do you plans on changing how you build your roster, which you said you're going to focus on building up those last little bit of teams, getting them wrapped up and buttoned up.
Yeah, I really want to formalize my hard and soft counter teams. That way I know exactly where I'm using. I don't catch myself mistakenly putting old Ben where he don't need to be, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm going to be definitely building out squad loadouts specifically for Grand Arena. That way I can go through. I know exactly what characters I'm using, and they don't cross over at all. So it's going to cut down the time also. Trying to figure out counters and everything. It's like, oh, I see that team. I know the counter. Just hit it. Team loads up and ready to go. And I'm going to be focusing. I know a lot of upper end guilds already do this. They focus specific teams for speed on certain characters and then kind of spread everything else out. Have one character tanky, one character modded for more damage. That way you can spread your mods out a little bit better across teams. So I'm probably going to be looking at doing that by concentrating speed on certain characters and manipulating it that way. Help out my roster. I'm
going to do that. I'm also going to look at some non-traditional teams that maybe I could build once I get some of these other characters geared up. I mean, because right now there is so much stuff coming out in the community. There's all kinds of little counter cheat sheets out there, and who does what against certain teams. that's a quick Google search away. So if you set a defense, again, like we talked about, you can say, okay, Ewok counter, and it's going to bring you up 20 tutorials on how to beat that certain team. But if you throw some oddball teams out there, it's not a Google search away.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep researching some of that. Try to find some teams that don't have as many hard counters, or maybe counters that are more tempting to use somewhere else.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking at a couple of those. I mean, I need to finish up a couple teams that I'm working on, but there's the old Zeta Barris teams look really interesting. The caveat with that team is I want them, or what you need to do is actually slice up 6-mods with health primaries, just so you completely stack that team full of health, and how much of a difference that's going to go through and make on people. Because I think people are getting too comfortable seeing that team and just being able to blast through it with straight offensive firepower and being able to over damage the health generation within that team, which I think would be completely different when it's fully modded with 6-mods.
Right.
So
I agree.
So yeah, let's start wrapping everything up and get on with your bump and grind list. Who are you working on now that we went through and said you're working on rounding out your teams? What team are you working on?
I am looking at going back to the Sith. That Zeta Maul team was really strong for a long time until R2 and CLS and Rex kind of overtook that. And that's kind of what I was hinting at earlier. You put that defense team out there, it's very tempting to go to that CLS team to take it out, which burns that for a better team you have hidden in the back territory.
Speaking of that team, I just went up against that team with a Zeta Maul, Zeta Vader, Zeta Savage, Zeta Emperor Palpatine, and then Sith Trooper. Yeah, I one-shotted him. I went through it. I like it. We talked about it. There is a counter. You said R2. I used Wigs, R2, and then Chute and Baze as my tank.
Okay.
And just walked over them. You go through, I put Burning on them. I went through and had the Dispel with Baze there. It's a very old meta. Zol was the meta.
It is, yeah.
And Wigs and R2 was the counter at the time. So, yes, I lost my R2 from my CLS team, but it more than made up for it by taking out that team, especially with how many Zetas were on that team, where I only had R2 was the only Zeta on that team that I used to take it out. So, yeah.
Okay, so maybe not the best idea for me. I have to go back to the drawing board.
It depends on what people have geared up and what they place on defense. Because say that someone put CLS with R2, Chase, and Raid Han or something on defense, that makes that team very hard to come up with a counter for then.
Yeah, that is true. And like we said last week, there's no perfect answer for Grand Arena.
Yeah.
It's everything's going to have a counter, and even more so once C-3PO is available to use.
Yeah, or take it like the guy I went up against. He had his R2 in his JTR squad. Without R2, that Zol team is very deadly.
All right. So yeah, that's going on there. I'm grinding ships still, trying to get at least my bounty hunter ships to 5-star for a potential Millennium Falcon event. Django, he's chugging along. Eventually, I'll have 2 bounty hunter teams, so that's so far off. I'm not too concerned with it right now. And then nothing on Cantina. Sith fighter and out of fleet. That's it.
Yeah, I decided I'm going to finish up my Ewoks, then I'm going to go to C-3PO, so that's what I'm focused on right now. I'll finish up the Ewok, go to C-3PO, then go back to the Kira Vandor Chewbacca team while I'm working on shards because I'm working on shards for Vander, Chewbacca, and Houndstooth are the main two that I'm focused on right now, and then Kira at a Cantina. So that's what I'm working on, wrapping it up, trying to go through and button up these teams, trying to finish out these teams before I move on. Not leaving them half finished.
Yeah, and that Grand Arena makes it so much harder to stay focused because each week it's a new meta, new hot ticket. Yeah, hey, just your friendly reminder: if you have a goal in this game, stick to it. If you're trying to get a legendary character, don't get sidetracked. Jedi Revan will be back before you know it. You're still working on those. Keep working.
Yeah, get your mission up. She is a bear.
Yep.
Still working on that on the alt. That's the last character I need for the alt to be ready for Revan. And it is. Those 16 energy nodes are painful.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wrap this up. Let's get the housekeeping done and get on out of here.
All right, y'all know the drill by now. Reviews, all that good stuff. Email us. Find us on Discord. That's our main hangout. Again, we have a lot of fun. We're on there all day. Sometimes we're at work, but we will read messages eventually and get back to you. There's tons of members in there talking about movies and collections and all kinds of fun stuff. Find us on thealliancegaming.com with all kinds of other great content creators. And again, if you want to leave us a tip, we'd greatly appreciate it. Tip jars out at patreon.com/Cantina Vizsla. Helps keep the lights rolling. Rolling, what the hell? What kind of lights we have? Keeps the lights on and helps us pay the bills and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Cantina Vizsla. And remember, if you like what you hear, make sure you rate, review, and comment down below. You can contact us at cantinavizsla@gmail.com. And, as always, remember, don't drink the bantha milk.